What's up, Crypto fam? Welcome to the Extra Bullish Hour with your hosts, the Bagman, Berserker, Uncle Buster, Fuma Boys, and Nerdy X. Smash those likes and the subscribe button on the way in. Thanks, fam.
Pump it up, pump it up, pump it up. Gotta pump my bags up, pump it to the moon. Pump my bags up. XRP, pump it to the moon. Pump it up, pump my bags up, pump it up.
Now buckle up and let's get bullish. Extra bullish.
Welcome to the party. This a moon party. Hey, this a moon party. Hey, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. This a moon party. This a moon party. Pump it up, XRP to the moon. Pump it up, pump it up, pump it up. Gotta pump my bags up, pump it to the moon. Pump
Welcome
my
in.
bags up. XRP, pump it
Got my baggie
to the moon. Pump it up.
Some brass zerk. He got some brass zerk. Knock out some Bitcoiners with that shit right there.
Pump my moon bags. Pump my moon bags.
Welcome to the party.
Pump it up.
Bagman, bag ladies, welcome to the Extra Bullish Hour. Appreciate you guys jumping in. Smash those likeys on the way in. We got Dre with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Dre. We got Fruition Films in the building. We got Chris and Maya joining us today. Markets are on fire. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the party.
Yo.
Yo.
And that movie was fire. The movie was so good.
Yeah, it was.
Thanks,
man.
guys.
Well done.
Yeah. Appreciate having us on here. It's been like a really crazy, last few weeks finishing the film, and then some serendipity in the timing. Some people are kind of hating on us on the timing, like, hey, you got to bring this out before the election, whatever. And then the premieres come and all the election's over, and then it's just going and going and going, and the price is going up 10 cents per city.
Perfect time.
I told
yeah.
Maya, hey, we got to
Perfect
keep
timing,
traveling. We're gonna have to keep traveling.
amazing.
Like every year, every day it goes up more. And then it launched on Thursday, and when a bunch of people were watching it on Thursday, November 21st, the price was going up again. So it's like more people who see it.
The site too.
The more people that see it, the more money it goes up. So that's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I thought the timing was perfect, man. It's amazing how many people have opinions, though. It's like you can't make them happy, man. But the movie was it was awesome.
We get mostly good vibes, the XRP community is mostly good vibes. And I find that any accounts that are sort of ragging on us either are like bot accounts, like, founded this month, no image, 100 followers, like
Few
very
followers.
sus.
Yeah.
Or I got like mostly positive reviews. We have like basically 100% reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and the one bad one is a guy gave us 1-star review and said these reviews can't be this good, so they're fake. All right, I
But
guess
really
so.
good
One-
reviews. Good reviews.
One guy did write me a message and was like, you should change up the whole thing. I don't like documentaries. You need to hire a different producer and a different director, and you guys need to take out all these interviews and stuff. And I responded and I said, what was your review of ET? It would be great without the alien, like.
Seriously.
Jeez.
You gotta keep it factual,
Right?
But really, I mean, mostly really like 99% great responses, and just, just how it really helped the community be able to not only validate everything that they've been through, but just share with their own family members and friends, and how they are now understanding them. So just a lot of thank yous, for kind of making it, just making it more understandable to family and friends. And so, yeah, good reviews.
I haven't
Actually,
heard-
really great.
Yeah, I haven't heard nothing. Anyone XRP said it was amazing. I haven't heard anything bad from XRP Army, man. So
Yeah.
but I thought it was well done.
I think the greatest part of the movie was the the breakdowns, how you had John Deaton break down everything, and it was easy for everyone to follow and to track. So it brought everyone up on the same page, which is nice.
Dean was pretty good when he's on. Then this guy knows this guy when he's on the board. I thought that was epic right there.
There's a lot of nuggets too that we didn't know, but it painted the story that we couldn't see, and you guys connected all the dots, and then all the extra nuggets you guys dropped was really good.
Yeah, it was complicated to put that story together. You know, first of all, that board was made by me, not made by John Deaton. You know, so I had to organize all the facts. I had to, you know, John had the story, but I had to put together all of the actual sequence of events, and that was really challenging to do. And I had to whiteboard it over and over and over until I felt like I'd listened to the track. The first time, I think you guys asked me before we went live, like, did we know all of this? And the answer is definitely no. The first time I interviewed John Deaton, that interview was done in like March of this year, of 2024.
Oh, wow.
So the first time I watched all of that, I was like, I had no freaking clue what he was talking about for the most part. Yeah. I was just like, all right, I'm going to keep recording this and I'm going to figure it out. After we record it, I'll go figure out how to tell the story of it. And we didn't take any shortcuts, because it is ultimately a lot harder to do a film where you rely on the expertise of people you're interviewing rather than like having a narrator or making it about like the filmmaker. You know, some documentaries are like, oh, I'm going to follow like Michael Moore, or like I'm going to follow on the Bitcoin documentary, for those that saw it. It's mostly like the director flying around, and that's like a lot easier to make than getting and constructing a narrative with a bunch of experts and then making that narrative or that ensemble of 20 people make sense, you know, one sentence to the next. Like making all of that make sense over an hour, 40 minutes is a big challenge. But I think we did a decent job of making this complicated story of, you know, white collar crimes are not simple. You know, the way that these guys operate, the way that they off financial crimes is never straightforward. You know, it didn't go in and rob a store. It's like a guy was sent there with a mission to do these things, comes out, gets a payday. Like it's a lot more sophisticated.
That's why I asked you that though. Like when I was watching, I was like, man, I wonder if they knew it was like this deep, you know, because I had my own thoughts, but I had no idea like it went down like that.
Well,
bro, Chris, you even used the red yarn to connect the dots.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I wanted it to look like that. I wanted it to be like I was
journal like crime board.
I was vibing off of, you know, John Deaton's Detroit kind of police-esque vibes.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was a fitting vibe for him specifically. So we filmed
it was
in this warehouse, and we like smoked it out with fog.
Yeah.
And, you know, put him in this kind of mysterious police headquarters. But I felt like that was the vibe that John gives off. Very like salt of the earth, very like, all right, you know, this motherfucker, blah, you know, like,
yeah, that was awesome.
He's kind of a cool guy. So that was the vibe we went through, case files and all that stuff. Most of that stuff was shot way later. Actually, like all the close-up shots of the board was done on a different board than the one that's in the frame. So there's like, you know, a little bit of trickery, but it helped us make the story a little bit clearer for people to actually see the visuals. Because it's like a Game of Thrones episode. There's a bunch of randoms, you know, you got to connect them together. They're all part of this sophisticated web to pull off the free pass speech and you know, to pull off the financial maneuvers of the Chinese ultimately front running the new financial system.
It was a Chinese.
That's the macro picture, you know.
Hey, did you guys reach out to Charles to get him on the documentary?
Charles, I don't think I reached out to him directly, to be transparent. He didn't really end up being somebody of interest until way later. And it wasn't actually, we had interviewed Steven the first time, and his first interview was like 7 hours long. Like I had to keep extending the time I was in this location. The interview you see in the film is not from that first 7 hour one. Charles Hoskinson was not even a topic of conversation in that first one we did in like April of this year. But as I was editing that down, Steven kind of was like, well, I've got these other text messages that you might be interested in. I'm like, well, what's the subject matter? And he's like, well, Charles Hoskinson sort of set up the Ethereum Foundation with China. I was like, you probably should have led with that. So anyways, I spent about 3 months working with Steven, not to tell him what to say, but to help him like compress it down, make it a little bit more understandable. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I went back to New York. Actually, I think it was only in like October. I went back and I shot him one more time and put that in the film. And he was kind of sitting on those because he didn't know whether James O'Keefe was going to do something with them. He kind of like pseudo promised them to James O'Keefe, but I was like, dude, I don't know what James is doing, but my documentary's coming out in November, hell or high water. So we should just put
Hey, that was crazy to have James at the premiere. That's wild. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, a buddy of he's friends with a guy named Camden who knows him well. But what's more crazy is hanging out with Marla Maples, Trump's ex-wife.
Marla Maples, Trump's ex-wife was there.
We hung out with her in New York City, and she was at the premiere as well. So,
wow. I wonder if is there a part 2 coming? Because I think there is so much more information that I think that you can go more into detail. Because like the first one was like bring everyone up to date, and now it's like, do you guys see like maybe in the future you guys collab with maybe James or something and just like going more into depth?
I don't think I'd collab.
We don't need James. We'll do it ourselves.
James' style and mine are completely opposite of each other. We're not the same person at all. I encourage, James can do his thing, and for people who like what he does, like let him do what he does. But
Chris has a different artistic style of approaching a story that I think is more interesting, to be honest.
James is kind of a trap box style, guy who's trying to catch you doing something. I'm a little bit more like, let's get the foremost experts on the area, like to interview with us and make it more about the people and not about the person, like the person making the film. That's like not my style. But anyways, our follow-up, when we had started this documentary, we started it as like a series with 6 episodes. You kind of see a little bit of that remnants in the documentary. We have like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. And we have whole episodes that we plan to finish that are kind of continuation. They don't fit within that EthGate narrative, but they definitely do provide, additional insights into the XRP ecosystem. Like the developers, I interviewed a bunch, some of the individuals that run, financial education programs within the space. But ultimately, the next documentary for us is most likely going to be Money Disrupted. And Money Disrupted is the documentary about the Federal Reserve, its formation and its ultimate demise, and what's going to the tokenization of everything. So that project actually is about 50% completed, and we're going to be going to interview. I believe his name is Griffith. I forget the initials beforehand, but he's the author of Jekyll Island, which is like an entire dossier about the formation of the Federal Reserve. But we all know that system of finance cannot continue, and so the Federal Reserve is most likely ready for a reset. And so I think that as it connects to the crypto ecosystem, blockchain is a perfect solution for a treasury, an asset-backed treasury, on the blockchain. And I think we see that, blockchain serves as a tool to, track the commodities or the assets that back the new treasury. So if that all takes place under a Trump administration, that's completely going to be bananas for everybody who's in crypto. So I think that that's kind of the story we want to do next, because the source of all money, pretty much is the Federal Reserve. So I think that's kind of the follow-up without it being like a sequel. It's like its own topic.
I think it's going to be cool to connect, because there is actually a lot of connections and a lot of same vibes per se that happened with EthGate and that's happened with the Federal Reserve. There is a lot of same vibes with that whole Jekyll Island private meeting ETH IPO type ordeal. Like there is, because that whole situation with the Fed, it was, people they'll get more into it, but it was a lightweight communist type takeover of everything because they wanted to remove like tariffs, and that was the whole point, is that They didn't like the fact that we had tariffs, and then and the globalists needed to come in and take over to get us onto their system. And that was the only way, right? And that all goes, and then goes way back to like 1907, and it goes even back farther than that. But
Yep.
that's pretty cool. Like, I like what you guys are doing. It's congratulations, because people really need to know about it. It's some really serious stuff. And people really like when people comes to like the whole like being awake or whatever, or a red pill or whatever. I think it's more of we need to become educated and be more informed of actual factual events that took place, and the way how everything is formed today is not the way it should be, right? Like, there's a lot of corruption going on that people need to know and talk about, because the way how everything is so messed up. Like, I think it was Vet and someone else just posted online that there was bots on BitTrue that shows like straight 8 XRP being sold, 8 XRP being bought, like just by bots. So they're suppressing the price of the coin, and at the same time, like, you have all the corruption with Janet and Jerome. Like, Jerome said straight up, like, it would be beneficial if they got rid of the Federal Reserve, because they know of the whole interest rates and how everything works. So kudos to you guys.
It's a period of transparency for sure. I think we're entering, Coach JV said recently, like, we're entering a period of authenticity. And I think that means that, like, the truth bubbles up, because the media has lost control of the narrative, right? You can see that, and it's kind of funny because it's opposite land. If you talk, like, when we had gone, a lot of people ask us, is this film going to be on Netflix? Like, trust me, like, we are exhausting every resource to try to get it out to that side of the media. Problem is that side of the media, the Hollywood system, which is basically also an extension of mainstream media, right? They're owned by the same mega conglomerations. That those particular entities don't understand crypto, or more nefariously, could be actively suppressing the knowledge. And so when we went out there to say, hey, we have a built-in audience, people are excited about it, they were kind of like, I don't know, maybe not. And when I listen to my parents who watch mainstream media, it's like the people on X are the bad and crazy ones. Oh, how could they possibly allow for those narratives to exist
on X?
And I'm like, how could they possibly allow the narratives to exist on your channel, where they will say the word fascist 100 times an hour and selectively edit the Trump rally in Madison Square Garden to show Hitler Third Reich? I mean, that's straight up propaganda. That's some 1984 shit, and yet
they don't see it that way.
Every freaking president has had a rally at Madison Square Garden. Why? It's the biggest venue in New York City to rally at. Like, duh. And so I find it to be interesting that the mainstream media can't maintain it. And look at Joe Rogan's interview numbers with Trump versus what anything on MSNBC is doing. Like 200, and that was even with YouTube doing some nefarious stuff, right? Like, kind of the video wasn't trending really, with like 6 million people in like a minute watching it or something ridiculous. It wasn't trending for a while, so the link was missing.
Even other podcasters smoke MSNBC. Like Rogan's a class of his own, but even the guys underneath Rogan, their numbers was crazy. I was like,
exactly. So I think that's kind of our goal, is in this new age of authenticity, for us to become a documentary production studio that kind of focuses on telling these stories. This was our first feature film, first documentary, first of any kind, first feature film. And we invested, all of our own XRP. Like, obviously, if I was thinking about it financially, a lot of XRP was harmed in the making of the documentary. We would make far more money if we did nothing, but that's not what's important. What's important is that we start shedding light on these kind of issues, and that we, storytelling is a powerful medium. So even if you put out a 50-page dossier, most people relate more to the classic medium of film, and they need that 2, 3, 4, 5. They need that narrative laid out in front of them in a visual. That's just what we are. We're storytellers. We've been sitting around the fire for 10,000 years, listening to each other talk about stuff, and so that's what we prefer as a mode of learning and hearing. So I think that there's going to be a lot of stories. I had talked with Maya about maybe we should convert the company into a nonprofit next year,
Ooh,
and just kind of like focus on
that's smart.
really like public education is the mission, like public
Yeah.
education of these institutions. I
Mhm.
think we'd love to do
Yep.
something like on the jab on COVID.
That's a brilliant idea, Maya. That's actually
Federal
really smart.
Reserve, you know,
Mhm.
and we've had people come forward, like people come forward with stories that scared me. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is huge.
Hey Chris, have you looked into Judy's trust treasury bond? Her proposal on that?
No, this is the first
Look
I'm hearing about.
Look into her proposal of the trust treasury bond. That will help you a lot on a solution for the Federal Reserve, because that's exactly what her solution is that. Another thing is, it would be really amazing if you could or possibly have Ron Paul in that video, because Ron Paul is one of he has been a strong advocate to ending the Federal Reserve, like a strong advocate to ending the Federal Reserve.
Right.
And I've been following him for ages.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
real
learned a
quick,
lot.
He's
guys.
great. Yeah.
We got a few couple super chats, comments. We got a lot of thank you guys for the films in the chats. We got XRP Bishop with the $5. Says thanks to Chris and Maya. He says I bought and watched my digital copy on Friday. Drew
Awesome.
Smith with the 1999 says our jet has taken off and is rising to its cruising altitude. Enjoy the ride, everyone. Wishing you all health, wealth, happiness, and blessings all around. Thank you, Drew Smith. Scott T says ask Chris what they heard about President Trump seeing the film and his comments.
Oh,
Yeah. So we've been working
you wanna
with
answer that?
lots of people in the media to get anybody in power, because you kind of think about mission 1 is educate the masses, right? But then mission 2 is inform future decision making. So the most important thing we can do now as a community is inform the highest powers that be, in this case Donald Trump as the incoming president, about who his cabinet picks should and should not be, or at least hear our voice. Be like, hey, like let's not get another Gary Gensler prox. It's great. We all focus on like Gary's getting fired, but what's important is who's going to replace that guy, right?
Right.
So making sure we get those out there and get the highest powers that be that can see that stuff. Maya, you want to say something about that? About Trump?
Don't forget Mushroom Head.
Yeah. He's gone.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Maya.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to say, yes, we can confirm the rumors of Trump seeing it, as well as just kind of his whole cabinet and team, RFK Jr., Don Jr., and we just recently, even Elon Musk. So
Nice.
we're hoping they can get it out to the masses, and see the value. It's more I mean, the biggest thing is we just hope that they understand the story, that it's more than just this XRP community or crypto community, but that it's really about giving power back to the people through knowledge and giving the people a chance in this new era to become financially independent, make a more calculated decision and just understand these systems and the matrix, if you will, and have a choice to be able to truly get out of it if they choose to listen. So they are, rumors are true, and we're waiting to hear back from Steven in regards to what is going to happen there. But yeah, the exciting times. I wanted to ask you guys, just from your perspectives, because I would love to ask the whole community or everyone that watched this film, but what were some of the emotions at the end there for you guys, after seeing all the corruption, after seeing how deep, the rabbit hole went? And I don't know, did it kind of spark anything in you to want to make a change to it, just not even within your own lives, but, humanity? I was just asking the whole group what you guys thought.
Someone go first. I'll go after. I'll go last.
Yeah, I mean, I think it. Even when he said JV said authenticity, because I've been on like the vibration kick, like do whatever you can to raise vibrations. So, I view XRP as just the common ground for me to raise people's vibrations past, the crypto. But
Right.
yeah, I think that's what it's all about. And then, like you guys are doing, you're trying to take it out to the masses, which is hard because everything they want you going the other way. I mean, they could educate us about the Titanic, or Federal Reserve, but they did the movie Titanic, which makes you think complete opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? So, I mean, you guys are like, I mean, you guys are leading the way, really, because crypto. I think a lot of people underestimate how much growth they do, because once you get in XRP or crypto in general, your neighbor's never going to be like, yeah, go for it, Chris and Maya, go for it. You know, no, you're always going to hear the Matrix program run against you. Man, you're buying that shit, you know,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. So the growth you do, you know, it propelled me to understand vibrations and raise the consciousness. So it's just awesome. And I want to say, I bet you Trump liked your name, rigged from the start. I'm sure he dug that.
Honestly, we did think about that.
Yeah, because that's a good. I mean, that's a bigger crowd.
Yeah,
it's a bigger crowd.
I'm aligned with Buster when it comes to like our voices, as far as like, you know, us little guys here just talking to the masses, talking about XRP. I think we've been kind of on this like grassroots march of like, get your bags up, like save your family, save your lives, like get on the be the fleas of the dog on the dog. That's what I use. I use that phrase a lot, and it pertains to like XRP and Ripple. Like, they don't want the public to know. Obviously, this has been a riddled masses kind of like, you know, intrinsic thing that you got to be crazy in order to understand it. And so my perspective was like, it was like a sense of like, fuck yeah, like vindication. Your guys is like, you know, documentary was like, yes, because that's what we've been doing this whole time, because we naturally do it. Every time I get in touch with somebody new and we talk crypto, it's literally like, get some ZERPs. And then they're like, what's ZERPs? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. XRP. Like, I have my own language around this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I've been doing that for years, been trying to get people on board, because I don't want people to be poor their whole lives. I want them to have some sort of financial intelligence. And so that's it. You guys have just raised the standard. So thank you for doing that. That's what my thoughts are.
No, thank you.
For me, like what XRP Bishop said, it says just confirm what I expected. And also, because I was deep on the whole China XRP thing in the beginning, especially because like they would always attack Brad Garland House at the beginning and say that all XRP is centralized and this and that. But he would always bring the fact that only a couple pools own the entire, that could do a 51% attack in the BTC mining pools, as well as ETH. So China had owned both of them. So I was really deep in that in the beginning, but nobody was really talking about it. But yeah, it just confirms what we known, solidifies another cherry on top, and also gives us something that we can share with people instead of just sending them like news articles and stuff like that, so they can really dive in and see the real juicy stuff. Also, before you go nerdy, couple more super chats. We got a Vanity Original with the 99.99 ZAR. He says, sent Rick from the start to my pastor at my church today to educate our community. What's coming? Community will be viewing Bags channel soon. Appreciate you, Vanity Original. And we got 3 Digits with the $100 bomb. Appreciate you, 3 Digits. He says, I want to ride the monster. What's up, 3 Digits?
$100 bomb. Boom. Real quick though, I'd have been more pissed though if it was 50 cents. You know what I'm saying? It probably helped that XRP was over $1 when I watched it. You know what I'm saying? If it was 50 cents, I'd have probably been more pissed off. But
we had a little watch party.
For me personally, when I was watching it, like I've been following it. For me personally, I've been following a lot of this stuff, and it was nice to just bring out the fact that, you know what, this is treason. This is not some run-of-the-mill white-collar crime. No, this like they wanted to. China was trying to attack our economy. Like, this was sabotage, right? At the highest order. Like, this is really, really bad. For the fact that the Trump administration, yeah, and for the fact that the Trump administration has now seen it, I am now ecstatic. I am now so ecstatic to see the outcome of this. And to be honest, if it wasn't for you guys making the film, and it wasn't for Chris's idea making the storyboard and putting everything together, it would have never reached the commander-in-chief. It would have reached the commander-in-chief at all, ever. So kudos to you guys. Thank you, because this was like a big this was a really big deal. It wasn't just something small. And I believe it'll go down in history as something big, as like a Dodd-Frank or something on that order.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
mean, there is I mean, when you think about it, China really is firing on all cylinders in terms of them trying to make moves in the global market. And anybody, at the surface level, BRICS nations is certainly an initiative to replace the dollar as the global reserve currency. But even further to that, I mean, look at how brilliantly they played the whole mining pool situation. They literally
China's smart.
They banned
Mm-hmm.
crypto in China, not banned it. They still had it. They just exported the miners to the United States, where they could get tax credits to build facilities in rural places in Texas and Oklahoma,
send it back,
and South Carolina, and then use our infrastructure on our American taxpayer dimes through our politicians to ship all of that crypto back to China.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Full set match. You got played, and I think that's when I hear Trump say stuff like, I want this to be the crypto capital of the world. If we don't, we are screwed, because
100%.
China's going to be that country, and other countries, other small city-state countries like, Dubai and Singapore and stuff, have already, been running towards that reality to create these little innovation hubs. But we can have a whole nother .com boom, if we become the crypto capital of the world, because we have the world's largest financial market. We have some of the world's most talented technology companies. And so you could have like a whole new world where blockchain technology we become the capital of it, and it's just going to flow so much money, and we should be. So I'm glad that it's gotten so big now that the financial institutions are involved, which basically means they can't really keep pretending that they're not involved. Jamie Dimon in public versus Jamie
100%.
Dimon up, so
100%. Real quick, I just want to say something. Is if people don't really understand what's really going on and why is this such a big deal and why the movie was such a big deal, I highly advise everyone to look into Tether and look into how much treasury, how many T-bills they own. They own a lot of our treasury bills, and you look at the random Tether printing and how that correlates with the price of Bitcoin, and how that and what's really going on. And China just approved Bitcoin again for people to buy and sell in their nation.
Billion.
At the moment in time when we have $1 trillion worth of debt that's accumulating in interest every single month, everything that is happening is a strategic to the core economic, financial, just sabotage to the fullest. This is really bad. So when people are saying, Bitcoin, the mechanism behind it and why it's being promoted so hard and all this stuff, because it honestly relates. Everything correlates. Everything is interweaved. Nothing is separated. Nothing. All these random events. None of things is random. Everything is correlated. Even when Chris is gonna make the 2020 doc, the Jabby doc, you're gonna find out that it's correlated. It's all correlated with Gates. It's all correlated with the Gates Foundation. It's all correlated with the Soros Foundation. It's all correlated with all these other China shell companies. They all want one thing, and that is to control the politicians, control the economic order, and they either do it through celebrities, whether it's the CAA or the CCA, through their agency of funding or campaign or anything to do with donations of that sort, and it's all interweaved. So Hollywood is connected. You look at all the FDS scandals, how they had a whole bunch of celebrities are promoting that stuff. Like, the corruption goes so deep, and it's like,
but even
people talk so much smack about Ripple and all this stuff, but they don't understand this stuff goes real deep. There's a reason why we're hated on.
Well, you got the Titanic. Well, Buster said earlier. He said the Titanic. They made the Titanic and they put that documentary or that movie a certain way because Hollywood is the way they are. But at the end of the day, it's funny because you talk about the Federal Reserve and the Jekyll Island thing. Well, the Titanic led to the creation of the Federal Reserve,
right? Exactly. Exactly.
A lot of people realize.
J.P. Morgan stepped off that boat before it sank.
I mean, it goes. There's so many parallels in history when you look at the 1907 copper run, which is really what led the conversations of the elites to create, the Federal Reserve System. And there are those who can connect the Titanic to sort of wiping away some of the resistors. There's certainly some context for that.
Yeah, the Astor family.
Yeah, no.
Wiped them
When
off
you
the
look,
map.
the overview, like when you're watching Rick from the start, you're seeing how blatantly they do crypto, but it just represents the fact that they've been selling this place out for
a long
decades.
time.
Years
Long
ago.
years.
Decades.
Yeah,
That's the change,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, even the Alibaba IPO. I mean, there was a memorandum of understanding that was created, and there's a documentary that's pretty good on this topic called The China Hustle, and basically it's about Chinese companies raising capital in the United States financial markets by IPOing Chinese companies that don't really do much of anything in the United States. So Alibaba was /Ant Financial was the largest IPO in history of its time. But in 2014, when that happened, the memorandum of understanding was established a couple of years earlier by who? Well, under the Obama-Biden administration. Mm-hmm. And they allowed Chinese companies to come here and do IPO. But guess what? One of the little, let's say, clauses that a Chinese company didn't have to follow, but American companies had to follow: financial audits. Wow. The Chinese companies didn't have to have outside financial auditors.
They did that on purpose. They gave them that.
That leads to that leads to a treasure trove. Morgan Stanley and others create, outside investment funds, and they can basically wash money into China and make a whole bunch of money on it. So that's what it kind of leads to.
Hey, XRP Unleashed in the chat for a giveaway.
And it's still going on.
Drop XRP Unleashed in the chat for a giveaway.
And then you correlate that with all the Chinese buying all our land near military bases, right? And that just came to Trump's attention. That's exactly what the Communist Party is doing. They're buying land on American soil that are near all our military bases. Yeah. So whatever was happening was a strategic plan of events to take over America.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, call me kind of patriotic, but I think we should eliminate foreign investment in real estate in the United States.
100%.
So that we have,
Agreed,
fine if you green card or whatever, but
China has a lot
as
of
a foreigner investment.
Land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it should be.
Well, shout out to Maya. You were saying earlier that we're in the middle of this. This is still going on. That's what's bonkers.
It's happening.
It's bonkers. Yeah.
Yeah. It goes even more into depth where Chinese are buying American land and then they're building houses on it and they're putting those houses for rent. And then Americans are taking loans on those houses and they don't realize that they're taking a loan from a Chinese company.
Yeah, but they bought American ports. Yeah. I mean, that's even worse than land. Like, we sell them ports. That would never happen in another country. It's just complete sellout, bro. Like, this whole place has been sold out. So
we got sold out.
It's over. You sell a port. How you sell a
doesn't
port?
China own? Doesn't China own the port of LA or something? Something massive?
Yeah, like Long Beach, I think.
Crazy.
That's wild, bro.
No, I think that's old school. It would be more acceptable if the rules were equal on either side, right? Like European, EU companies, countries, like we can do commerce there. American companies can invest in Europe, and
not
European
in China.
Companies can invest in the States. But as an American company, you can't really do business in China because it's very difficult to do that, which then means it's not really fair. It's not really equal. Right. So that exchange, the Chinese companies can come here and operate within the United States, but we can't really operate American companies in China effectively. It's hard to enforce copyrights there, intellectual property there. And in addition, the Chinese Communist Party, it is a communist country. They take a majority stake in a lot of the companies that operate there. So, when you look at Alibaba, Ant Financial, or you look at the Wangchang Group, which is the largest auto manufacturing group in the world, 30% of all parts in cars come from Wangchang Group, which is in the documentary. And they own all sorts of subsidiaries. My point telling you that is that Chinese conglomerates can, spindle out everywhere in the world, whereas the opposite is not true for American companies to operate inside of China. So that's kind of where I feel like it's not a level playing field. Where I hope that when Trump comes in, he puts these tariffs in place. That's the great balancer. It says, okay, we need to invest in American infrastructure to manufacture stuff because we need the opportunity to bring that money back into the United States.
I agree. I think it will happen because with the CHIPS Act, that Biden signed in with too was I think that was a really big deal of bringing chip manufacturing back to the United States. That's a huge deal. I think in China, and Trump is also trying to he wants to bring all the car manufacturing back from Mexico because he doesn't want he's trying to rebuild Detroit and trying to turn Detroit back into the beautiful city that it once was. So I think Trump's going to do a lot of good things. The tariffs is a really big part of all this stuff. I was looking into our history, and for 100 and something, I think it was like 130 odd years, we had no taxes at all. So it was all just tariffs, and it was like 50% tariffs. And we had the best, like it was like a golden country. It was beautiful. So I really hope it goes back to that because Zerker wants 30 cents bread, and I think that's the only way we do it.
It was 80 cents,
think
and then
about
it went
that.
down to 30. But yeah, 80-cent bread, bro. The American public needs a break, bro.
80 cents is too high.
Is it too high? 30 cent, bro. 30 cent.
Shout out to
We need our
The
money back.
wealthiest and the most powerful nation in the world. There's no reason why gas should be over $2 for anyone across the whole nation.
we got
It's
Mouse Cop
ridiculous.
with the 199. He says, I'm in it for increased global autonomy. We got Angus Scrim in the building with the $10. Cheers, Angus. We got LEET with the 589. He says, screw your XRP shitcoin. XRP LFG. Haha. Love y'all. We got Vanity Original with the 39.99 ZAR. Vanity Original with another 99.99 ZAR. Why did XRP throw a party when it took over Ethereum? Because it finally got past the gate without paying the gas money. And Joe C with the 1717. Watch you guys often, but not big on the chat. Slow fingers. What's up, Joe C? Shout out to everybody dropping the super chats. We're gonna give away a couple copies of the Fruition films. We got a couple minutes left. We also got coffee time coming up at the top of the hour. Smash those likeys, and we're gonna give away a couple copies of the film. Links in the description if you guys haven't got your copy yet. Pick up XRP Unleashed, Rick from the start.
Chris and Maya,
worth it.
before we walk out, what do you look what are you looking at as far as the near future? What's the battle plan? What do you guys want to do from here on out? What are we looking at, guys, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I mean, one focus is to just expand the audience. So we are going to work on some obvious things like translations for folks who, subtitles for people in Spanish and French and German and Italian and Korean and Japanese, and expanding out the audience. Second thing is I'm going to be producing an after show program, kind of like when you watch like Game of Thrones or something else where they break down certain parts of the film because it is dense. So I'm going to be showing clips and bringing in like Jimmy Valley and John Deaton and several others. And we'll just like break down a small section, like anything we feel is really Stephen area. We'll bring in a section, kind of talk about it, show a little clip from it. We'll put that out as like additional context for folks that can learn about the film. But really, ultimately, what we're doing, early next year, we'll expand to more streaming platforms. So, we had kind of described this in public, but again, just for the education of everybody, the reason why we launched our website versus like iTunes or Amazon is because of the rev share problems that those platforms have. We had a lot of risk in this. We basically put a house into this documentary, and we're not we're not a mega studio. Maya and I are two regular people. We were fortunate enough to do well in the 2020 crypto bull run. And so some of that stuff we invested, but keep in mind, all of that was sold throughout 2024 before this bull cycle started. So, we took a huge hit in terms of our own bag, but we think it's for the greater good. And we're kind of starting a company, based on doing this kind of storytelling. So for us, there's a couple things other than audience expansion and those platform expansions. Another thing we're going to start doing is producing, more like episodic materials that educate the masses on what's going on in crypto, what's going on around the world. Like almost like a news program, but like, there's only one episode per month or something, and then really all efforts will start to move forward very soon on the next documentary, which is Money Disrupted. And it takes us a while, to make these things. We're still doing them faster than Hollywood, but, it's going to take several months for us to get something out there for Money Disrupted. And hopefully we can just keep shining the light on different parts of, the system that have been kind of screwing us over, and driving awareness for these systems that are kind of coming to an end. And so I think that's kind of what the immediate future looks like for us, is continue to help educate what this story means, expand it to more international audiences through just, accessibility with language and platforms, because we know some people just would rather buy it on Amazon, and that's fine. But Amazon takes 50% of every dollar we sell. So, we're just trying to protect that in the short run for those who are directly connected to our community. But eventually we will make it available in those platforms. And then after that, like I said, we'll just kind of start focusing on the next story, and focusing on the Federal Reserve, because it could end up being that, sometime in the next 2 years, we get legislation and perhaps get rid of it, replace it. Who knows? It's a lot of what can happen will happen in the first 2 years of Trump's presidency. As any new president comes in with control of the House and Senate, most of the juicy legislation happens in those first 2 years. So we hope to see like stablecoin legislation. We hope to see, legislation that protects your right of self-sovereignty to own your keys, protect that in the law. And we hope to see this Federal Reserve piece, or as some folks say, a debt jubilee, seeing an opportunity where the financial system, which is going to have to be necessary because the petrodollar is not working anymore. So we're going to have to replace it with something. And I feel like the more we can do that and help educate it through, the medium of film and if it's on the TV, it must be real. So we're trying to get on the TV and make that happen. And try to help folks, because it's amazing how few people know anything about this stuff. Ask 100 people on the street what RP is. We went to the gas station last night to get some snacks, and there was a Bitcoin ATM. You guys see those some places, right? And I was like, oh, the Bitcoin ATM's down. It must be because the market's roaring. They don't want to allow you to transact. Do you believe in that? I was like, there's nothing to believe in, dude. It's a decentralized network,
It's here. It's a scam. I'm like, well.
Exactly.
So,
Maya,
what are your thoughts? You wanna walk out some cool stuff? What are your hopes and dreams for the future? What are we looking at?
I mean, the hope and dream for the future for us is really to become our own. I guess to sum it all up is just we're trying to create our own network, right? Fruition Productions Network, become our own little mini Netflix, right? I think the future is being able to do this as a small guy without the big systems. We don't need Hollywood, we don't need Netflix, Apple, Amazon. And if I want to just tell the community, if you guys are interested in more content, more stories, we would love for you guys to jump on over to eventually our subscription, because we do have a lot of stories. We have a lot of people coming to us in regards to just stories that expose the government and everything. I mean, I feel like now's the time of age of Aquarius. The truth is coming out. Truth is coming out, and people are wanting to know the truth. So we do have the opportunity to create, those films and content in regards to those stories. So if you're interested, please, come jump on over and subscribe to our channel on X, and we'll give you more stories. We'll give you more juicy stories and everything. So, but yeah, just I guess the future is bright, and now is the time. I want to let everyone know that, if you are still a little bit hesitant or skeptical, um, take that leap. Take that leap of faith. It's going to be okay. The future is bright. The power is within the people now. So
Yep.
don't worry.
It's not too late.
Don't
I think
worry.
that's another thing. It's not too late, right? People are
Not
like,
too
"Oh, I
late.
missed this little tiny baby run of XRP."
Right.
That is a tiny baby run. Okay, you're looking
Just
at
the
something that's
beginning.
going hundreds, if not thousands, in the coming years. Like that little baby run from 50 cents to $1.40. That's
Mhm.
exciting for those
It's
of
not
us who
even
are already
parabolic.
holding it, but that is
They have
nothing.
Yeah, it's
compared to where
nothing.
we're
Yep.
going.
Right.
So, like, I'm still like, hey, it's not too late to get in here. We got to just hold it down for a couple of years. And, to really blow people's mind, I was talking to my mom the other day. It's like, eventually with DeFi, decentralized finance, you're going to be able to be your own bank. Like, you'll be able to, like, literally keep your crypto, hold it, and loan yourself money against it and get yields for providing in liquidity pools. Like, there's a world where, all of the wealthy billionaires do that. They don't really live off of their assets. They live off of loans on their assets because debt is tax-free. So,
Exactly.
there's a lot of reality for those of us who are holding right now. You are so early. You are not late. You are so early. Like, this is 1994, and people are starting to talk about what the internet is. That's where we are for perspective in blockchain technology. Okay,
Bullish.
what's up? There's like this,
Yeah.
there's like this news clip from 1994 where people are discussing what the @ symbol actually
Yes.
means. Like, oh, @. Like, how do you say what's @ what is that @ thing mean? That's where we're at right now. What the hell
Did
is
you guys know that you've used the word juicy 3 times? And I'm a word guy. I
we did.
used it. We got the hot word. I'm gonna steal juicy from you too. Is that okay?
Okay, that's totally fine.
That's a fire word, bro. Love
Juicy, I like it.
Let's go.
Yep.
It gets people interested immediately. What's juicy?
It's juicy. It's perfect.
Well, we are
Zach,
at the
thanks
top
for
of the
having us.
hour, guys. We got coffee time coming up right after this. Chris, Maya, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for your time,
you for
effort,
having us.
energy, and all the burn XRP used to make XRP Unleashed rig from the start. Go ahead, Buster.
Yeah, I was about to say, I want to donate some Zerps to you guys, so I'll hit you up on X and get an address or something, or maybe get a
thank you so
public
much.
address. We could blast it out, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people had asked us about that. We will put a public address out there shortly. So thanks so much.
cool.
Also,
Thank you so much.
SoFlo, and we got SoFlo, one of the winners for the digital copy. Also, Louis hit me up for the digital copy. Shout out to everybody else who dropped a super chat.
Awesome.
Lizard King holding out until November 27th to get my copy. And we got the Aristocat, the Muskegon with the $5, the Griffin X Rising.
We got to
But,
get you that
Nice.
house back, guys. Guys, help Chris and Maya get that house back.
You guys are more.
Thank you.
Well, it's a much bigger house now that the crypto run happened. It's gotten more expensive. The document I laughed to Maya. I'm like, whoa, I guess we made $1 million documentary. Whoops,
Whoops.
But that's how it was, you know what I mean, like with the gains. So yeah, it's all right. It's all good.
But
Got
thank
cop-
you. No, we just appreciate the community and the support. We couldn't have done it without you guys. And we're making a difference. We're really tapping into
Yep.
into I think just society, and everyone is waking up, and we are doing our best on the other side to get it to Elon, to get it to Trump. It is confirmed, but like we can only do so much, but we are hoping that they really see the value in the story and they just blast it out there, because that is really a dream come true, right? That will help all of us, and make the impossible possible. I mean, it's surreal. We're living in an interesting age. So
especially for our normie friends that aren't on X, that are outside of the bubble, like those are the ones that we have to talk to. So yeah, cool.
Moon Juicy.
Thank you
Moon
so much.
Juicy. Shout out. See, we're gonna start chopping up Juicy. It's gonna be beautiful.
I like it. I like it.
So, do your friends have ZERPs that are on the outside, or are they against it, or do they have it because you guys? Do they have ZERPs?
We've converted a couple people. Like
They
my
have it because of
grandmother's
us.
so stoked.
Yeah.
She's freaking 80 years old, holding it.
She's 80
got her
years
own
old.
bag, her own wallet.
Nice.
She's stoked as hell.
That's
She made like
awesome, dude.
$25,000 this last 2 weeks. So she was like, she
Nice.
built a decent little bag. So yeah, I tried to help everybody
just-
who can. We
He
had
just called
couple
us
friends.
yesterday. It was like, oh, go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
No, what I was going to say is we had a couple friends who literally did what we did. They sold their house and they were like, well, what should I do with this money? Should I buy another house? I was like, no, absolutely not. Do not buy another house. It's the worst asset with this money. Should I buy another house? I was like, no, absolutely not. Do not buy another house. It's the worst asset with this money. Should I buy another house? I was like, no, absolutely not. Do not buy another house. It's the worst asset with this money. Should I buy another house?
We're looping.
You're looping.
Okay, we're looping. The Matrix got a hold of us.
The Matrix, man, trying to trap us.
They don't like that.
Let
advice.
him go.
Try to hop in.
Anyways, a friend of ours invested their whole money they made from their house in crypto, in XRP specifically, and they held, and it was going down 50 cents, 40 cents, 30 cents, 50. And they were like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. They were just like, wait. And of course, the last 2 weeks, they were like, oh my God, thank you. Should I be selling now? And I was like, no.
Fuck.
We're just beginning.
That's
We're
that's
just
where we're at,
beginning.
though.
Yeah.
This phase is literally, it's not about how much you have, it's who can hang on. Because they're about to show everyone
Exactly.
so much money. It's about, because there's a lot of people that buy something and they double up and they think it's time to sell because they don't have that vision, right? They don't have the long game. So keep getting the messages out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys feel like selling to slap your hand, don't do it. No, don't do it. It's too early. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the kicker, though. Here's the kicker, Chris, is that they'll call you because you're now their new, quotes, not real, but financial advisor. So they'll always refer to you.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all got phone calls recently. You know, they were like, "Oh shit, you were right."
I'm waking up. My mom's sending me screenshots of her Zaman wallet. I'm like, oh, you know we're fucking going up.
Same, bro. I'm over here texting my mom, hey, check your balance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my grandmother knew what her balance was. She was just like, "Oh my God," you know.
I love it, man. It's so good. It's so good.
Congrats, Chris and Maya, to the future.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Chris, Maya, you guys are welcome to join Coffee Time if you guys have time. If not, we love you guys. Guys, check out the links in the description. Fruition Films, Fruition Productions.com. Get your digital copy right now. Rig from the Start, XRP Unleashed. Later, glitches.
Yeah. Glitch.
Pump it up, pump it up, pump it up. Gotta pump my bags up, pump it to the moon. Pump my bags up. XRP, pump it to the moon. Pump it up, pump my bags up, pump it up. Gotta pump my bags up, pump it up. Better pump my bags up, pump it up. XRP to the moon.